Hi, y'all, and welcome to my house. Woo! So, this is a brand new channel, and I figured I would introduce myself and then I would also tell you about my channel. So, starting with the introduction, you can call me Victoria, okay? So I'm going to be covering a lot of um, sports, different sports on this channel. Well, I shouldn't say lots of different sports. Primarily, I don't know if it's given it away yet, but NFL news. I absolutely love watching football and NFL specifically. I do sometimes watch college football, but my bread and butter is really the NFL. In um in my house, Tennessee Titans. Um the other sport that I really want to focus on is hockey. Uh in our house, we are Carolina Hurricanes fans. Um I love them. So we will talk about those. We'll also talk about random interesting stories and random interesting facts. So let's get into it, okay? So let's start off with the NFL. On this video, I'm not going to stray too far from the NFL, particularly since this is a introductory video for myself to you guys. I will link the articles that I found reporting these incidences in the comment section below. So let's get started, shall we? We'll start with some old news. I'm aware it's old news, y'all, but that's okay. Everyone's got to start somewhere, okay? So we're going to start with some Tennessee Titans news because we're always going to touch on Tennessee Titans as my home team. So let's get into that, shall we? So the Tennessee Titans have the first overall pick in the draft. For those of you who don't know how the draft works, basically every single team drafts players every single year before the preseason so that they can start either rebuilding the team or add to the team they have. So one example would be like a couple years ago, the Tennessee Titans went to Nashville. I got the joy of being there, and they drafted a great receiver, AJ Brown. He now plays for the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Eagles. And like I said, he is an awesome receiver, and um, I wish he were still on the Titans. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think he is a great player. So, um, so basically, um, the first overall pick goes to the worst team in the league. I hate to put it that way, but I'm a very blunt person, y'all, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Um, so let's talk some more about the fact that they have the first overall pick. The question all becomes, what do they do with that pick? Because they could trade away that pick, and I mean, either trade it to someone for a player. And a lot of speculation that's been going around is, they're going to do a quarterback draft to use that to get a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers or um I've heard rumors of Dak Prescott Dak Prescott. Um those are just rumors and speculations that I've heard people say, uh, and but none of those are 100% guaranteed that that's what they'll do. Another option would be they draft a quarterback fresh out of college. Now, that to me seems like the best play. And this is an opinion, this is not something that I found online or an article about anywhere. This is an opinion. I think it would be the best play or the best choice to go ahead and draft a new quarterback. And the reason I say that is you have a brand new coach that came in last year, and he was working with what the previous coach and the previous GM um had on the board. It's like a chess game, really. Do you keep what you have and work with it, or do you know get something else or get someone else? I shouldn't minimize people here. But that being said, it's 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 hard to know exactly where they'll go with it. They could, I mean, like I said, I think they should draft a new quarterback. And it's no offense to Will Levis. Okay, maybe just a little bit. But I think Will Levis has some potential, but I also think either it's there's a disconnect between Will Levis and the rest of the team and the coaching staff. I'm sorry. I'm saying it. I'm not going to take it back. Um and I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not saying he's I have a lot of opinions about Will Levis. Um but I'm going to reserve them for closer to the draft. He and so whatever the Titans are going to do, I personally think it's a better play or a better choice to get someone new. Basically, it's like getting a new, I don't know how else to put it, but basically getting a new set of eyes in your locker room. Um, a favorite for me would be Deion Sanders' son. I personally love Deion Sanders. I think he is hilarious. I think he was a great player when he played. I think he also has a lot to offer an organization, particularly if his son is a part of that organization. So again, I'm biased. I think we should get Deion Sanders' son, but again, that's just me. All right, so I've prattled on enough about the Titans. I will do that because I am biased. I am not going to deny that. I have a lot of opinions. They might be unpopular, but my big thing is please be respectful in the comments. I'm open to having a conversation, but if you, I'm not going to have a conversation if there is any kind of disrespect. Okay, I'm just not. Um, I'm just not going to entertain that. All right, on to the next thing that I found that I thought was very very interesting. Um, would be the Eagles promote from within. They promoted. I believe I'm saying his last name right. Kevin Pat Patalulu? Patalo? I don't know. It's spelled Patullo. So, like I say, y'all, I might be saying that wrong, but y'all, please forgive me. Okay? So, basically, they promoted him to offensive coordinator. And the reason that happened is because Kellen Moore, um, who was the offensive coordinator, got hired um, as offensive uh, uh, got basically he got hired somewhere else. So that's an interesting move for Philadelphia for a lot of reasons. First off, it's not uncommon for NFL teams to hire do an in hire. So basically, that means they take, let's say, an assistant coach and move them to head coach. A, I'm trying. One example of that would be the Raiders have done that before. But again, you kind of have to think about the pros and cons of doing that. The pros is you don't have to hire an outside source. You don't have to hire someone new. The downside is you are getting someone um, who's been under the coach of the previous coaching staff, and they might do better or they might do worse. It's that's a For me that's a really toss up decision to make. I mean, the Cowboys do that a lot, and um, I'll leave it at that. For those of you following the NFL, you know what I mean when I say the Cowboys are their own worst enemy when it comes to that. Well, not just that, but to a lot of things. Um, and I have a lot of opinions when it comes to the Cowboys as well. Um, so the next little thing I found that I thought would be interesting to share is about that is um the person replacing Mr. Kevin is Miami Dolphins offensive assistant. Um Parks Fraser. Um or I should say is expected. I shouldn't say he is. He's expected to, according to the article I read. And that again, that's an interesting choice. Um, for those of you who have been following the NFL this past season, the Miami Dolphins are kind of a weird team where they seem to play somewhere between pretty good to really bad. And I have opinions on Tua still playing, but also those are all opinions. Um, like again, for those of you who have been following the NFL and those of you who haven't, Tua is the quarterback for Miami, and he has a long history of concussions. One of the It's one of the most terrifying things to see on live TV is someone get a concussion. And so I uh, I think he's at a point in his career, and this is just me personally. I'm not speaking for Tua. I will not speak for Tua. Um, but it seems to me that this is a point in his career where he really, really, really needs to consider his options. Consider, is it worth continuing playing for his, well-being? Um, because I mean, a great example of that question would be Antonio Brown. I mean, that for those of you who don't know, Google Antonio Brown. I'm leaving that alone. I'm not getting into that. Not in this video anyway. So let's like that's one of the scariest things about football is the concussions. And um you don't at some point your body's going to give out, or your body's going to be like, hey man, I can't do this anymore. So I think